Fatheads, welcome to another episode of Sharing Our Pairings, episode 8, Sodee Pop. Sorry I missed you guys last week. We had some scheduling conflicts, and unfortunately we couldn't go broadcast, but we're back again for an interesting pairing show. Rob, thanks for joining us. Our regular guest host, as he's come to be known.
The regular interim guy.
The regular interim guy, until who's I think over time you're just going to become the regular guy. Essentially, you're just going to become the regular guy because you guest host so many times.
Lame duck guest host? Kind of like a lame duck college coach. I can't really recruit anybody because it's my last year kind of thing.
I don't know. I think you have a lot of power because we don't really do much on the show. So, really, I mean, it's not like we're giving away bottles of booze or, I'm sure our audience would grow substantially if we did.
Our audience grew substantially. We're giving away some stuff today, and I noticed maybe this is like the second time we've had questions posted, and there's a ton of them.
It turns out if you give it away, the weasels will come.
It's funny. They just out of the woodwork.
So, wow. Of course, today we decided to get a little bit more specific, maybe get a little more professional. We're doing the Gloria. I'm doing the Serie Black, which is interesting. We didn't really know much about the cigar before we went live. Mostly I picked this because I had a pretty good sense from the profile that it was going to be spicy from Nicaragua. But Rob, you found out some interesting stuff actually.
Well, yeah, there was a few things I knew about the cigar. I'm smoking the Esteli, Serie Esteli. Esteli and the Black were released at the same time. And yeah, DJ Rob with a headset. Yeah, my earbuds broke, so I'm gonna chew it, DJ Rob. I was actually a DJ in college.
Really?
I had my own radio show.
For reals?
Yeah.
Jeez, maybe I should step down as the main host. You should be the main host, and I should be the co-hosting because I
think we actually, with the few people who are logged in right now, have more listeners for this particular show than I did for every show combined on my college radio network. But yeah, my DJ name was Robbie Digital. And if anybody can give me a reference as to why it was Robbie Digital, then I might have to send them something.
Is that the bonus question? Identify.
I think that's a bonus question, yeah.
So email Rob at CigarFederation.com with the title Wicca Wicca, and the answer to his question. That's right. You have to sound that out. It's onomatopoeia, and you have to find out what his name Robbie Digital.
Digital. Yeah. Robbie Digital.
What that meant. What that stood for.
Well, it was in. You could just tell me why that was my DJ name. You don't need to know me personally. It has nothing to do with me. Anywho, wow, I just got real old. Anywho, so the La Gloria Serie and Serie Esteli, the Black, came out at the same time. The Black, John, that you're smoking, was an online exclusive.
Which makes sense because I buy pretty much most of my cigars online, being a Canadian.
And who is that? Somebody just won. Yeah, that's a winner right there.
Wow, the weasels are on fire tonight.
Read more books. He got it. That was RZA from Wu-Tang. He was Bobby Digital, so I was Robbie Digital. Well played. So I'm gonna need you. Go ahead, read more books. Email me, rob@cigarfederation.com. You just won something. I don't know what. Something.
Wu-Tang special.
Yeah, the Wu-Tang special. Hey, it's Wu-Tang Wednesday. Anyway, we're getting way off topic, but and the Esteli was a B&M exclusive. We had Michael G on Cigar Chat a while back. We talked about it a little bit. You can go back and watch that episode for more in-depth. Just to give a little bit of difference on these two cigars. The Black, John, that you're smoking, they're both Nicaraguan Puros. The Black has a very robust Jalapa Tapado Ligero wrapper.
Ligero! Show us your Ligero. Give me some of that Ligero. We'll be featuring that on a shirt soon, I'm sure, the Ligero shirt. Stay tuned.
And then, excuse me, the Esteli has a Jalapa Soul wrapper. It's Visos and Ligeros from Nicaragua. Yeah, so they're both Nicaraguan Puros. I think the Esteli obviously is more from Esteli. The black, you're going to get a little more jalapa. So interestingly enough, those are the differences there. I smoked this one when we had Michael G on the show, which was about a year ago. This is from that same batch. I really enjoyed it when I smoked it last time, and I think I'm pretty sure I reviewed it, but I'm not positive. A little spicy for my normal taste, but I really did like it. This one has gotten off to a pretty good start in the first quarter inch or whatever. A lot smoother than last time. But anyway.
Well, I was intentionally picking, and I'm glad you're saying it's spicy, because mine is, of course, being that tasty Ligero is also spicy, and I was kind of thinking that this might be one of those great contrasting pairings where we've got this pepper spice of this, and then I'm sure we're going to get this just overwhelming sweetness from the Sodee paw if either of us ever get to sleep tonight after drinking this much sugar. I think I mean, in my head, it seems like it's going to contrast and balance really well, but maybe we could talk a little bit about what we're pairing with for our audience, because we've got a couple minutes before break.
Yeah, I went a little bit crazy, but it's just regular stuff. I've got a location near me that has a lot of beer and a lot of different sodas. They get those Jones sodas that are like bacon flavor and all that weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I went over there, and they were closed. I didn't realize that a liquor store would close, but it was closed. So I had to do the next best thing, and I went to AM/PM, and shout out. Got A&W root beer.
Very nice.
Cream soda. I got vanilla Coke, which I'm not a big fan of, and cherry Coke, which I would drink all the time, all day, every day if I could.
I think it's the nectar of the gods. We just can't get it up in Canada.
Why can't you get it in Canada?
I don't know what the deal is, man. Like we have like ketchup chips. You guys don't have ketchup chips. We have Kit Kat bars. You don't have Kit Kat bars, but you have stuff like cherry Coke, and we don't get cherry Coke. I don't know.
We have Kit Kat bars.
Do you have Kit Kat bars? Maybe I'm thinking of Coffee Crisp.
Yeah, we don't. I've never heard of no Coffee Crisp. What was the first ketchup? What now? Ketchup chips, like ketchup French fries.
Ketchup chips. We're getting way off topic now, but yeah, ketchup chips, man. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's like a ketchup powder, and you'd think Americans, being just huge fans of ketchup as their condiment, or maybe it's ranch, but yeah, man, ketchup chips are like the bee's knees. They're just fantastic.
As they said in Pulp Fiction, it's just the little differences.
It's the little differences.
It's the little differences.
You have a fifth beverage too, don't you?
That's 6.
6, holy.
Oh, Canada Dry. That's all you, man. I brought
Ginger ale.
Dry. I didn't even think of it. Ginger ale. Love ginger ale. Jack and ginger. Really good. And just some regular old club soda.
That's interesting. Now, I think we kind of talked a little bit pre-launch, but I am just not so interestingly enough, off topic, sort of. I only drank ginger ale when I was sick, so I can't actually drink ginger ale because it reminds me of being sick, and I don't find club soda to have any flavor to it. Like, to me, maybe it is just carbonated water and I'm out of the loop, but the only time I've ever had club soda is with gin, and I can't stand gin, and I can't stand club. So it's a perfect mixture of two drinks that I really won't drink.
But ginger ale, I was just like you. I only had it when I was sick. But I got some ocular issues here. But I like the flavor of it, and my wife would always have a little bit of bourbon and some ginger ale in there, and I'd never had that before.
That sounds all right.
It's really good. It's a little bit sweet. You can even squeeze a little lime in there. It's really tasty. My aunt calls it a highball. I don't know if that's really what it's called, but whatever.
Well,
but
I mean,
she's 85, so.
Highball is really any straight.
Any drink, isn't it?
Yeah, any drink could be a highball. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and club soda for me, it's just like sparkling mineral water. It's the same thing. Like I really like club soda. I'll put a lime or something in a glass and fill it up. Have some club soda, and I like it. But I use it to top off a lot of cocktails too.
Fair enough.
So there you go.
So I am also drinking root beer. Curiously enough, I went with the non-A&W, even though A&W is my favorite. I was kind of in a rush, so I went with the mug root beer, caffeine-free, which is important. Coca-Cola, which I'll go on a rant later about Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. All of our listeners out there that love Pepsi and are wrong. Dr. Pepper, the greatest beverage ever invented for soda pops.
It's pretty damn good.
If people disagree, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this later because this is one of my childhood drinks. I don't know if you've seen Crush or not. But in my opinion, Crush is pretty much the best cream soda and a great drink.
Got the purple grape?
You know, you never see grape soda really paired with anything, and I thought that's probably going to be pretty awful. But, you know, again, I'm here for our listeners, not for myself. So if it's terrible, hopefully our listeners can learn from my terrible example.
So you're going to be the guinea pig. Yeah, I saw the when I was at AMPM, they had a selection of fruit sodas, and I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So you're on your own with that. So we're gonna do this. Are we gonna do this in any kind of order or what?
Yeah, you know what? Let's be super pro this episode, and then
should we go light to dark?
Yeah, they can hold us. Oh, is that what we're doing? Because I just immediately cracked my root beer and went to town. So that just blows your suggestion right out of the water.
All right, we'll try to go in the same order here.
Okay, so I'm going root beer first.
All right, I will too.
Just before our break here.
So. Yeah, A&W root beer, and you have mug. I don't know if there's any difference. The root beer that I really like are those Henry Weinhardt's. Makes beer too, but he also makes some root beer. It's actually really good. It's good cream soda too.
Well, I think I prefer A&W because it's less sugar and more of that sarsaparilla root beer flavor, which is kind of why I drink root beer in the first place. I mean, you know, yeah, I like sugar, but I like that sharp, almost peppery taste of that sarsaparilla. And for our break here, I'll just say that it's kind of an interesting start. It's the pepper off the Gloria R Black does actually work really well with that root beer because this is more not. I always forget the word. It's not contrasting, but whatever. They work well together. The root beer does.
Complementary?
Yeah, they're complementary. Thank you, sir. They're complementary, and I was expecting to be contrasting. So the root beer flavor, that sarsaparilla, is actually working really well with that pepper for me.
Off topic. Not really off topic. On topic. When I first started smoking cigars, one of the main things I liked to pair with was Diet A&W, because it wasn't quite as sweet, like you were saying.
Yeah.
The Diet had kind of a nice flavor to it for something like a Maduro wrapper. This pair is a little bit weird, to be honest. It kind of accentuates the spice and that black pepper in the cigar.
Yep.
There's a fair amount of black pepper in here. I mean, they call it Esteli for a reason. I mean, this is pretty quintessential Esteli cigar. With you get lots of earth, lots of big black pepper notes.
Yep.
And in a way, the effervescence of the soda almost kind of burns your tongue a little bit.
Yeah, I can get that.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not a ringing endorsement by any means.
Well, with that, we're gonna take our first break of the evening. And we're back.
Love those breaks.
Love those breaks. They're quick or not, depending on where you're listening from. Appreciate all our Armed Forces Radio Network listeners out there who hopefully have the chance to enjoy a nice, refreshing Coke or root beer wherever they're deployed, wherever they're listening. Appreciate you listening, and stay safe out there.
You know, it's funny, when we ever talk about pairings with anybody, if we have somebody on Cigar Chat or we're talking about it in the forums or whatever, people always want to know, what do you pair it with? Bourbon, whiskey, scotch, rum, whatever. But I would imagine that the bulk of people smoking cigars out there are pairing with non-alcoholic stuff.
I would think.
You know, depending on, I mean, you're smoking a cigar on your ride home from work or driving into work, or if you're deployed, you're probably not enjoying it with a bottle of Jack. I mean, you're probably sitting there with a Coke, or I don't know. So, I should have tracked down an RC Cola. Remember RC Cola?
Oh, that would have been a good find. That would have taken us back to the 19 for sure.
Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move on from the root beer, because that's
not working for you.
The cigar is good. I do enjoy it, and I really do like root beer, but the two combined, not so much.
So what are we gonna go? What's our number 2 drink? Call the ball, Maverick.
Negative Ghost Rider. Let's go. We'll go with cream soda. I'm gonna go cream soda.
Okay.
And I don't imagine that this is gonna be any better.
So I was kind of asking before the break if you had Crush before. Is that at least where you are? Is that popular, Crush?
We get. There's a few of them. It used to be Crush, but now I think it's Fanta.
Oh, okay, yep.
I think Fanta's more popular here. But we get a lot of those, the ones in the bottles that are bottled in Mexico too. Those the fruit sodas, and I can't think of what they're called, but they're in the green bottles.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know what the brand name is, but that's what I see predominantly around here. I don't drink a lot of fruit soda. But yeah, I just see Fanta, and I remember the Fanta girls. I always liked them in the commercials.
Well, the interesting thing is that Crush is, I think, a very, very popular drink in Canada. I know that I grew up with Crush. I mean, Crush Cream Soda, Crush Grape, Crush Orange actually was the big drink when I was young. Nothing beat the heat like Crush Orange. But I'll tell you, just nosing this, I mean, it takes me back to my childhood, but not necessarily in a good way, and like that I ate too much cotton candy and got sick at the fair kind of way, because I mean, like, all I can smell off of this, and this is why I don't drink this stuff anymore, it's pure sugar.
Yeah.
Like, it's just 100% sugar, and I don't think this is going to be good. Oh yeah, that's
it's
not a winning combination.
It's like you lost the bet.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I couldn't sacrifice and do the cream soda or the fruit sodas, but this A&W cream soda, kind of interesting. I figured that the sweetness was going to be way too strong, but it actually pairs kind of nicely.
Interesting.
It tempers the spice a little bit on the tongue. That was the thing with the A&W, the root beer, was that the carbonation really did spike on the tongue, and it almost like pinpricks. It was uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sorry, yeah. Read more books, dude. You're on it. It's Doritos. Doritos. That's what the stuff is called. Oh, actually, it's Harley Holmes who said that.
Oh, okay.
And yes, back in the day when the Fanta girls were running around in their bikinis, Rob wanted a Fanta. That's very true.
So said every teenage boy in America or Canada.
Yeah, it was popular when I was in college, so there's a lot of girls the sorority girls would go be the Fanta girls for Halloween. It's good times.
That does sound like a good time. So I'm gonna jump to an audience question here.
Oh yeah, Jared, we've got a bunch.
We've got a bunch. Jared Gerlot, who hopefully I got his name right this time. Yes.
No, dude, it's Jared Garot.
Garot. Does he know that there's an R in his name? Is he aware of that?
Oh, actually, you know what? You're right. I always thought it was Girllot, so I did it at Gur.
Yeah.
And then did the two L's like a llama. Garot.
All right.
And I'd say it wrong every time, but
we might call him Jared G from now on, just to avoid any embarrassment on our end.
No, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
Garot.
So Jared brings up a good point, and we haven't really talked about this a lot in shows, and that is countering nicotine sickness, nicotine rush, where you're smoking a particularly strong cigar. And I mean, I would say that Serie R's probably fall in that category. If you smoke this too fast, probably going to get a bit of a nicotine rush. And one of the best advices out there is crack a can of Coca-Cola, crack a root beer, crack some sort of like sugary soft drink, and it really helps getting rid of that cigar sickness.
So sugar counteracts nicotine. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Do we have a study to back that up?
We don't, and I think my homework for the next show is is going to be funny on why. My 800 years of vampiric experience tells me that I think what it is that the sugar essentially kicks your metabolism to process the nicotine faster. Now, that could just be that you're putting a bunch of fluid in your body, and the fluid helps your organs process the nicotine faster. But in my mind, I think the rush of sugar really helps your body metabolize that nicotine through, and that's what I'm going to go with and see if I'm completely off base for.
I'll take it.
So his question was, does the artificial sweetener throw things off? And you kind of talked a little bit about the artificial sweetener in root beer. My thoughts are, I suspect that artificial sweetener will not have the same positive effect on, because it's not being metabolized in the same way that the disgusting, terrible sugar or high fructose corn syrup is for you.
Fair enough. You're talking over my pay grade at this point.
Fair enough.
I mean, I could tell you if it tastes good. As far as I'm gonna go.
Well, I actually can't. I can't drink a lot of. Like, I wish I just quit pop almost entirely because I can't drink Diet Pop. There's a particular flavor in there that's sort of at the end of Diet Pop that I would say is like this chemical flavor that I can't identify, and it is not. It does something to my brain. I just don't like it.
There's phenylalanine in Diet Coke, and I don't know what phenylalanine is, but if you look on it, and actually I have some Diet Coke, and I should have brought one. If you look on a Diet Coke bottle, at least here in America, it'll say this contains whatever percentage of phenylalanine, and that stuff's not supposed to be very good for you.
Interesting.
But, I don't know if that's what you're tasting. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I'm just going with it because it's the only thing I know. And apparently Diet Coke causes. Well, we're just spreading all kind of rumors. It causes depression too.
Interesting.
As my man Jared Garrott, I'm sticking with it, and now I'm going to overpronounce it. Says there's overwhelming anecdotal evidence, and I would agree with that. So far the winner for me so far the winner, we've only paired two things. This cream soda is actually a really good pairing. I'm surprised. I think it dumbs down the flavor in the cigar a little bit, but they go together kind of nicely.
Interesting.
I don't think it enhances the flavor of cigar at all.
But it takes away some of that pepper for you.
Yeah, but it almost mellows it out a little bit. It's interesting.
So Read More Books, who was our initial Weasel winner tonight, also asked about, he said, you can only think of darker sodas with cigars. Is there a place or pairing for lighter sodas or fruit sodas, which is kind of interesting, because that's kind of where we ended up with the cream soda. So actually one of the things I was thinking of pairing tonight was a San Pellegrino, which is Italian soda, so actual fruit juice and carbonation. And I kind of find it as my go-to, not necessarily for pairing, but for when I kind of really, really crave a soda pop, I go with the San Pellegrino. And I think that there's a couple of San Pellegrinos that would actually go really well with this, like the grapefruit or the blood orange.
Yeah, the blood orange is so good.
Yeah, they're not as sweet.
Yeah.
To me, and I'm not a huge fan of overwhelming sugar rush, so it's kind of not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, those are the ones that have the foil thing on top of the can, right?
Yeah. So I guess to answer his question succinctly, yes, I think there is a huge pairing benefit there. Pairing. I mean, pair anything, right? Try, do what we're doing. Pour a couple drinks, just see what you like. I mean, we wouldn't know if any of this stuff paired well unless we tried it out. I mean, some of it's gonna suck, but we're going to find some interesting pairings that we want to litter our body with sugar. Maybe we're going to do that in the future.
Your microphone just got really loud.
Nice.
At least it did for me. Yeah, and I would recommend if you're gonna futz around and do something similar to this, do it with a cigar that you've already smoked and that you're familiar with. Because if I had never smoked the Esteli before and didn't really know what to expect, it would just kind of wreck your palate.
Yeah,
I would think
absolutely.
if you're going through too many different pairings. And yeah, Mr. Okay, now I'm gonna try to actually say it right. Is it Jerry? Is it Garot? Is that how you say it?
Well,
Griot? Griot?
Grelot or Griot would be if it was Cajun or French, because the L's would be silent. So I don't know if he is Cajun or French.
We could have a whole show just talking about Jared's name.
I think we should. Maybe have him as a guest host.
Maybe. I have a feeling that he's not going to win the prize tonight, though, because he won last week.
He has been wheezing very, very hard.
Or 2 weeks ago, or whenever that was. So I'm going to, since we were talking about lighter sodas, I'm going to move on to the ginger ale. I put it in a little ice because it was in my garage and it was warm.
Okay.
But I'll jump onto that one next.
While we're doing that, I'm going to see if I can squeeze in one more question before our break here. 302 Jose says he's got limited experience pairing with sodas, and interestingly enough, he says that cream soda pairs really well with a creamy, woody Dominican cigar like a Fuente or a Rodrigo Habano, Classico, Cabal. That's kind of interesting. He asks what the best soda cigar pairing you've experienced so far. I have to say, for me, as I move on to Dr. Pepper, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Pepper and cigars because there's a lot of flavor complexity there. What is your favorite pairing, Rob?
It is not ginger ale with this. Holy monkey, it tasted like barf.
Oh yeah, so there you go.
Bad times. Oof. Okay, so I keep going back to this. It's Jared Grillet. Grillet. Which, now that I see that that's how you say it, it makes a ton of sense.
So interestingly, he says it is French, but we don't pronounce it that way anymore. So yeah, okay. So yeah, if it was French, you'd pronounce it Griot or Grelot. I guess Grelot because there's two L's, but yeah.
We'll have to change this to episode 8, Soda Pop and Jared's name.
And Jared's name.
Yeah, I'm going to move on from that. The question, to answer your question, my favorite pairing, root beer for me is diet root beer, or like a nice creamy root beer. Yeah, creamy. The kind when you pour it, you get the nice thick head on it. Yeah, there's probably a joke there too. That and like a really a real kind of standard Maduro, like an Añejo or something like that, with a nice creamy root beer. That to me is really, really good.
Which takes us to our next break. We'll come back and I'll just address some comments from the audience here. And we're back. Thanks everyone for tuning in to episode 8 Soda Pop, as Rob and I flood our bodies with sugar on two middle-aged guys really shouldn't be doing as a healthy course of action, but we're going to do anyways because we love you guys and we're here for you. And this episode is brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Smokeout, hosted in Alberta, coming up October 3rd and 4th. Please get tickets. Tickets will go fast. There's some cheap flights. You want to come and hang out with some conscious Canadians, enjoy some delicious cigars, maybe not from the continental North America, and some delicious beverages. October 3rd and 4th, you can check that out at rockymountainsmokeout.ca. So before our break, a couple comments from you. You mentioned the Canada Dry there, kind of barfy, and Jerry was asking what your thoughts were on the Canada Dry Ginger Ale. I'm guessing that's a no bueno on your part.
Yeah, it's too. They just. If you've had ginger ale, you're familiar with the flavors. The ginger's in there, obviously. Yeah, hello. And it's a little bit sweet. for some reason, mixing with the flavors that I was getting from the cigar brought out a very tart, almost like spoiled fruit flavor.
Ooh.
That no, it had notes of bile were in there. It was not good. Not good. I would recommend not pairing these two. For a ginger ale, I would think something lighter, something more on the Dominican side. I would think.
So you said so far A&W root beer is your favorite. Tom Priestley agrees. He actually posted that one of his favorite pairings is the La Gloria with the root beer, A&W specifically. So sounds like we've got a winning combination this week. A&W root beer and La Gloria is getting some thumbs up, both from our guest co-host and our audience.
You know, the Coke Vanilla isn't bad.
Nope.
And I think it's the flavors from the Esteli, you're getting it's earthy, there's leather, there's spice, and to go onto the opposite end of the spectrum and get that sweetness really does. They kind of even each other out. I mean, for me, usually cream soda is really too sweet for me, and this vanilla Coke, I mean, forget about it. I would never normally drink this unless I'm at like a place where they pour a Coke and they put a little bit of vanilla syrup in it and they make it themselves. But the Coke brand one is just way too sweet. But pairing it with this cigar, I don't know that I would seek out and do it again with the Coke Vanilla, but it's pretty good.
And I have to say that the Dr. Pepper is living up to expectations. I'm getting some interesting flavors off the Dr. Pepper that I wouldn't get by itself. There's actually some cedar, and I'm not sure if that's actually from the Dr. Pepper or if it's from the cigar. But they're interesting. They're very complimentary. I think, the reason I like Dr. Pepper is because as a soda drink goes, it's more complex than just a straight up syrupy Coke, or and I love Coke, but Dr. Pepper's it's just got more going on there, and I think that's probably why I like it with the cigar, because there's a lot of flavors that'll come out in the drink, there's a lot of flavors that'll come out in the cigar, and not too sweet, and yeah. So for me, this Dr. Pepper is probably the best pairing so far.
Yeah, I think the profiles of our two cigars are a little bit different, but I think they're a little bit similar as well. I think yours, the black, is probably like the Esteli on like a little bit of steroids. Just it's a bit stronger. It's got more of a kick to it. So, but I imagine the profile is pretty similar. And I'm thinking that a Dr. Pepper would be pretty good with this, given the fact that I really did like the sweetness from these other two. But I'm still going to have to go with the cream soda, although I haven't tried the cherry Coke yet, which, to be honest, I love cherry Coke, and having a bad experience with it might be a problem, but I'll give it a shot anyway.
So a couple good questions from Geppetto here.
Geppetto.
That's easy name to get. He was asking because he says he samples several cigars in an evening, and he often uses plain seltzer to cleanse his palate, and so the flavors don't carry over. And that's actually something that I do as well. Just a straight up carbonated water, really good for clearing the palate. Chocolate's really good for clearing the palate. Believe it or not, black coffee, really good at resetting the palate if you do just a little bit of, like, not a full cup, but just maybe a couple mouthfuls of black coffee and then a little water to cleanse. I do that quite often if I'm doing a Scotch tasting, because your palate really does get blown out. I mean, you talk about drinking beverages or smoking cigars multiple times in a night. Yeah, that's you're gonna blow your palate out pretty fast if you're not taking a break and recharging.
Yeah, I've got some club soda. That's what I brought it here for. It wasn't really like a pairing thing. It was just more of a cleanse your business. And that works for me. And like you said, seltzer water, I imagine, would work just as well. I just usually go with club soda because I've got it on hand. There was one drink, and it was actually a Canada Dry, and it's called Bitter Lemon. And it came in little bottles like this. This is just it's a 10-ounce bottle, and it was green. And it was just it was carbonated, but it had like a bitter lemon note to it, but it was really, really dry. And I found that while you have to seek it out, it's not something you're going to find at Safeway. That was a pretty good palate cleanser as well. I don't know if I would do that going in between drinks, but in between cigars, it was a pretty good palate cleanser, I thought. One thing, a crisp, clean finish.
Yeah, well, I guess that maybe the lemon there. One of the things I forgot to mention at our past break here, and our conscious mod Matt brought up Project Manana.
Oh, yeah, that kicked off, huh?
Yeah, Project Manana started. Maybe you want to give a couple shout-outs for that?
Yeah, we've got, you're kind of putting me on the spot here because I don't have it pulled up, but Project Manana kicked off, on Monday, right?
Kicked off on Monday.
How long is it running?
I don't know because I'm also on the spot, but what I can tell our listeners is that there's something like 27 prizes. And then so far, and prizes are rolling in every day. There's going to be 3 major prizes for the number 1, number 2, and number 3 contributors. So the total contributions by the end, those 3 people are eligible to win those grand prizes. I don't know them offhand, but I have seen them.
I've got them here.
You got them there?
The person who donates the most money is going to get a Drew Estate prize pack, a box of Feral Flying Pigs, Feral Flying Pig shirt, get a hat, and then a Liga Privada crystal ashtray.
Ooh, sweet.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet prize pack. You just can't find boxes of feral pigs, and if you do, they're gone by the time you realize that they're even available.
Yep.
And there's a prize pack from Ezra Zion, one from Crowned Heads as well. The grand prize is, let's see, it's a Dominican Republic adventure experience in Crowned Heads, Headley Grange.
Wow.
So 3 days, 4 nights, Santiago. Meals, lodging, and transportation. You have to get your own airfare. You get to visit Project Manana, hang out with the kids, visit the nutrition center that we've helped build with the money that we're raising. There's going to be some cigar factory visits, day on the beach, which is always good, and a box of Headley Grange Corona Gorda, and a trip to the factory to see Headley Grange being rolled. So that's pretty sweet. That's a cool prize pack.
So, I mean, besides the fact that obviously, the donations are going directly to help the kids in the Dominican, it's a pretty amazing project. We welcome you to donate. Donate if you can, what you can. You can check out the link on the front page of Cigar Federation. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where the money is going where it should, and it's not like there's 90% overhead on that. So donate where you can. It makes a big difference.
Cool. Good plug.
So going back to the questions here, Harley had to ask a cheeky question, and I feel like I need to address it. Actually, through it to Jose mentions it as well. What's the difference between soda and pop? Does soda and pop taste different in Canada? That's actually 2-part, and I actually have an answer for it because I am also a smart aleck. First of all, we call it pop, and it is actually based on the region of where you live in North America. So if you're Central West, you call it pop. If you are Central Northeast, you call it soda. And then it breaks down pretty rapidly as you go south. Some people call it all soft drinks Coke. Some people call it soft drinks. Some people call it soda pop. But largely the distinction is soda in the West, and I've got it backwards. Pop in the West, soda in the East.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot of soda, but I call it soda. I just refer to it by whatever it is. I want a Coke, I want a Coke. If I want a cherry Coke or root beer or whatever, I don't really say I want to go get some soda. I just, but that's just me. I just want to wrap up on my pairings. The cherry Coke was actually okay. The finish on it was a little bit weird. The fruit, I noticed that the cherry flavor was much more pronounced than normal. It didn't really impact the flavor on the cigar, but it seemed like the soda was impacted. The flavor on the soda was impacted a lot. I didn't like the finish, but it was better than I thought it was going to be. But I got to go back to the cream soda, man. I mean, cream soda with this La Gloria Esteli is pretty damn good.
So I've poured my grape, my grape drink, and It's not as terrible as I thought it was going to be. Interestingly enough, the Serie kind of takes away that really punch in the mouth grape that you get from grape soda. It really offsets the sugar, but I don't know if these really do much for each other. Like it's not offensive, but I'm not hating my life right now. I'm going to keep drinking this, but yeah, I wouldn't really say that this is doing anything for me. So I'm going to have to go with my best pairing of the night. And I haven't poured my Coke because we kind of ran out of time here, but I'd have to say the Dr. Pepper. It's still my go-to. Maybe I'll try an A&W root beer because I'm sure there's going to be a big flavor difference between that and the mug.
Mm. Yeah, just with this cream soda, man, it's, and I think it's the cigar that's enhancing the flavor of the soda and not vice versa.
Okay.
Because the cigar in and of itself, even when I just smoke it without drinking anything now, it tastes kind of bland.
Mm.
It's that the flavors in these sodas are so strong.
Yeah.
And they're either so sweet or so fruity or that they're going to overpower the nuance of even a strong cigar like this.
Yeah.
But the cream soda, obviously it's creamy, but the flavor on the cigar really brings out a nice vanilla on the finish with that cream soda, which, I mean, duh, you're going to get vanilla in there anyway, but it seems a little bit more defined. So it's almost like you're sifting through that generic sweetness and getting down to the actual flavor of it.
Mm.
That pairing is pretty good.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly say that most soft drinks are really nuanced. I mean,
Yeah.
they really are designed for, maximum flavor, maximum sugar, sort of all in your face all at once. And,
Wow.
they're, like you say, with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, really.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subtlety of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But, no, I mean, I haven't had cream soda in years. And this pairing is good because I really do like the fact that the cigar is really earthy. It's got those kind of bold, earthy leather, pepper. I know Jared was saying that he was getting a lot of barnyard type flavors off the cigar. I think that's that lower echelon of flavor from the cigar that's getting wiped out by the sweetness from the sodas. But the pairing there is really good. I recommend it if anybody's got some. We have to pick who wins the 5-pack, right? Or we can do that after.
I think we're going to do that in our After Dark segment. So I'll just wrap it up here by saying to Harley's second question, believe it or not, I actually find that beverages and cigars absolutely taste different at altitude, and I think we've talked about this in the past.
Yeah.
When I had some cigars when I was down in Vegas last week, I can taste a lot more at sea level. My tolerance for nicotine, my tolerance for booze is much higher at sea level, and when I come back, I have all kinds of problems with burns. Although this La Gloria is burning very, very nicely tonight. Yeah, it's a different experience smoking and drinking at altitude than it is at sea level.
Yeah, I've pretty much been right around sea level my whole life, so I don't know any different. So if I go up and it's I'm at 7,000 feet, I'm just having one drink and I'm done. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you're gonna get gooned off one drink.
Cool. I'm in.
Cheap.
Cheaper, yeah.
So thanks everyone for tuning in. Please stick around. Those who are in our chat room for our After Dark segment. Next week, I think Rob, you are off.
I think so. I think next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday I'm in a golf tournament.
That's right. So we're going to do community pairings. Hopefully I'll have my guest regular host, Logan, and we're going to do community pairings. So what that means is we'd like the community to make some suggestions on our Sharing Our Pairings event page. What would you like the mods to try? And I mean, you can pick anything. We're guinea pigs for you. If there's something you want to try, we'll post some cigars there that we have that we can pair them with. Please make some suggestions. We'll try to honor those, and Logan and I will see what we can do next Wednesday to do that. So that'll be at our regular time of, what is our regular time? 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
And then, so that's September the 10th. And then September the 17th, we're going to probably either have chocolate and cheese when you're back. Or
chocolate and cheese?
Chocolate and cheese. Yeah.
Like together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we're gonna have a sample of cheeses and a sample of chocolates that we're trying while we smoke cigars.
Okay.
By the way, throwing you into the bus.
I'm in.
Or we might have a special guest host coming in for that show for whiskey pairing. So we're kind of playing it by ear to see how that pans out.
Either way, I'm in. Sounds good.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for our AFRN's listeners. Please tune in. Remember to donate if you can at Project Manana page on CigarFederation.com. And we'll see you all next week. And we're fucking back.
Back, bitches. I think for next week's pairing show, you guys have to do Henry Rodriguez. He suggested Mountain Dew and Wild Turkey with a La Gloria.
Mountain Dew and Wild Turkey. That's some highfalutin pairing right there. Jeez.
I don't think I could fuck with that, dude.
Jesus.
Whenever anybody says Wild Turkey, I always think of Christmas Vacation. When he's got the daughter in the clinic getting cured off the Wild Turkey. That's the only time I ever think. I don't think I've ever had Wild Turkey.
You know,
is it bourbon?
It's a bourbon, yeah. I mean,
oh boy.
And no disrespect to Wild Turkey, because lots of people drink it, but that would not go under our highfalutin pairing show. That would definitely go on our low-falutin pairing show, which is to say
paper bag show.
Yeah, everyone, the average guy who reaches into his cabinet to grab something he's not going to spend $75 on, it's going to be Wild Turkey, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think I would just toss in a few extra bucks and get some Jack.
That's kind of how I roll up some Tennessee whiskey myself, but
they make like Wild Turkey. They make like high-end Wild Turkey too.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a bottle. It was like $150.
Yeah, some aged stuff. Yeah.
I'm thinking if I'm dropping $1.50, and again, no offense, this is just my personal preference. I think I'm gonna spend it on Wild Turkey.
Oh yeah.
That's just whatever. I will say, and I keep harping on this. This is gonna happen again. That with the cream soda. This is really good. I'm really, really surprised. I had really low expectations for everything other than the regular root beer. And this cream soda is surprisingly damn good.
Well, I would drink it when we get our sponsorship of the insulin pumps, as suggested by the community, because as a guy who is pushing 849 years old, I really can't drink soda pop like this. Like pop, it's too much sugar for me, and if I want to stay my nimble, sexy self, pop is not a part of that regular diet regime. I'm sorry.
No, I would agree. I rarely drink. Excuse me. I rarely drink soda. I drink at the ballpark sometimes just because it's there, but I usually go with iced tea. I'm a big iced tea drinker. I don't know if that's any better for you. I'm sure it's a little bit better, but who knows. But yeah, I don't do a ton of soda. I think the stuff that we go through the most at the house, that we always have on hand, is ginger ale, and that's mainly because we're pairing it with something else. So we've got a
5-pack.
A 5-pack of the Estelis to give away. This Mamma Jamma right here.
And this is coming out of your personal stash. I don't know if our audience knows this or not, but Rob is so dedicated to this show that this is actually coming out of his pocket. This is how much he loves you Fedheads tuning in. So
yeah, it's co-sponsored by La Gloria. How about that?
Of course.
So, I don't know how the hell we want to... Somebody just mentioned Pappy Van Winkle in the chat there. How about you send me a bottle of Pappy, I'll send you some cigars. How about that?
That seems like a good trade-off.
I mean, I've got all kinds of cigars. We could make that happen. I don't know, how do we want to give this away? We already rewarded... who was it? He was all over the place, and now he's gone. Read more books. He won something just because he knew why I was named Robbie Digital, but...
I think what will be good is if you email Robbie Rass at CigarFederation.com with the subject "Sharing Our Pairings," and we want you to identify in your email correctly what is special about the Serie R Black versus the Serie R Esteli. We mentioned at the beginning of the show. Rob mentioned at the beginning of the show if you're paying attention. And those who correctly identify will be entered to win a 5-pack of the specially aged by Rob Serie Esteli.
Yeah,
So,
they've been kept in a quality controlled environment, that's for sure. And it's it's Rob at Cigar Federation. If you try to email Robbie Raz at Cigar Federation.
So Rob at CigarFederation.com with the subject sharing our pairings, and in the subject why the Serie R Black, or what makes it special and what makes the Serie R Esteli special, and you'll be entered to win.
Yeah, and then we'll pick the winner before the end of the show here. My email. I'm gonna clear up my email because it's about to blow up. So
hashtag email now.
Yeah, have you? Did you try it with Coke yet?
I haven't. No, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to pour the Coke, and I think at this point I've had more than enough sugar to maybe last me for the next week. But I do want to talk about a pairing I did in Vegas, which is sort of on topic. I had the opportunity to go to the Casa Fuente Lounge, which I had never been to, and I did a God of Fire Lancero, which gotta say, absolutely fantastic, very very tasty. And I did the shoot, now I'm going to get this wrong. It was the Glenlivet Nadura.
Yeah.
Which you and I hit that bottle something fierce at the Stratosphere. Don't book at the Stratosphere. That's our.
But go there for one scotch because it was pretty good.
So
good pricing.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, Casa Fuente's credit. They have a really nice selection. And as soon as I saw that on the menu, I was like, you know what, I'm back in Vegas. I feel like this is now becoming a Vegas thing where I go to Vegas and have a Glenlivet Nadura and a cigar. And it was fantastic. It paired brilliantly. Like, that Nadura is just a really great scotch. The sweetness of that Nadura, we kind of talked about it. It's not overwhelmingly sweet, but it did offset the pepper on the God of Fire really nicely. It was very complimentary. I was a huge fan.
Yeah, that's a good bottle, and I'm glad you said God of Fire because I didn't know what you said. I missed when you said Lancero. I thought you said Guadalcara, and I'm like, I'm trying to think. What did he mean? And so now I know what you meant. But I didn't want to ask because then,
Fair enough.
But now I know. So I didn't really need to call it out, but I did anyway. Yeah, that Nadura, that's good stuff. I found it locally. It's like $54 a bottle, which isn't too bad.
Very affordable considering the range of Scotch prices. Very affordable.
So there's no room in my bar for it just now, but it's going to be one of the next bottles that I purchase.
I would tell you to drink more, but I think really the message we're trying to share is drink better, drink less, because we want our listeners to drink responsibly, even if we don't.
Yeah, there you go. We do not condone overindulging in by any means.
Nah.
But I'm trying to think of some good pairings that I've had recently that aren't, just your standard stuff. The one thing that I did, and I heard about this when the cigar came out, and I don't know if people still mention it or not, but the Illusione Epernay, and pairing that with champagne.
Oh.
Because the Epernay is
interesting.
It's a Champagne region in France.
Yeah.
I believe. And I don't know if this was way back when this came out. This was before the Cigar Federation, before all that. I read that it was blended to be paired with champagne, and I did it one year, probably 4 years ago, maybe 3, I don't know. On 4th of July, and I paired it. My wife really likes champagne, so we opened a bottle of Veuve, and Veuve Clicquot, and it was actually really good. If you're familiar with that cigar, it's got a really nice, almost Cuban-esque profile to it.
Yep.
And the yeast in the yeast flavor, the dry yeast in champagne, and the mild fruitiness, really, it was one of those where the flavors contrast, but I don't know if it makes sense, where they contrast well, if that makes any sense. But it was an interesting pairing, and I haven't done it since because I don't crack open bottles of Veuve Clicquot all the time, but it was pretty good.
How are we doing those emails? We got anybody who is listening yet?
Let's see. We got a few. We got a few here. And wow, I got. Let's see. The first person. I'm just gonna pick the first person.
All right.
And the first person, and they got it right. This is, well, okay, I'm gonna pick this guy anyway. It's Isaac, Coffee Messiah at Gmail.
Nice.
I'm not sure which Isaac it is because we've got a few different Isaacs. But Isaac, you're the winner. I'm going to reply to your email because you didn't give me your full name and address. But you're the winner.
Congratulations, Isaac. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening and paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, we like to think we're not talking to hear ourselves talk.
He was Johnny on the spot with that too. I mean, he emailed within got a few seconds of you asking the question. He had it queued up and ready to go. He must have known.
Excellent.
So I did manage to let this go out because I was talking too much. Just want to fire it back up. So would like to take a minute to talk about your Jets and the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, man, coming up.
Are we getting a can of whoop-ass open on the Raiders this weekend or what?
You know, I don't know what's going on there, but I know you probably have a healthy hate on for the Raiders because, of course, they have a long-standing feud with the 49ers. And for anyone who knows their football history, and I'm sure there's a lot out there, the Oakland Raiders had a long-standing feud with the Jets for, I want to say a dozen years. That was probably one of the Jets' greatest rivalries, right next to the Dolphins back in the day. The Patriots are kind of a new rivalry, but back in the day it was the Dolphins and the Raiders. I mean, everything got left on the field when those teams met. And for those who don't know, so Rob, of course, 49ers fan. I'm a dirty Jets fan, as everyone likes to say. And Catfish is a dirty Raiders fan. Raider Nation! And Raider Nation! And for Catfish, hopefully he's listening, I'd just like to say JETS, Jets are going to, I don't care who's starting at quarterback, your quarterback better get some butt pads because the snack exchange is going to have him on his back for the entire game. It's just going to be ugly. He better get used to sitting down because that's where he's going to spend most of the game.
Yeah, it's I'm a big fantasy football guy. I've got one team that I just didn't draft the defense. And if you play fantasy football at all, you know the defense and the kicker, you take them in the last 2 rounds. And I just wasn't paying attention. And I ended up with the Texans defense, which, you think about it, they've got some big-name defensive players. J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know how you say his first name.
Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know if you watched any of the Hard Knocks this year.
Negative.
But, man, Jadeveon, that guy was he is so explosive off the line. It is breathtaking. That guy, in a preseason game, he has Pro Bowl written all over him. He's going to be explosive this year.
So the reason I brought it up is I was thinking about picking up the Jets defense just for this game. But,
I would highly recommend it because the Jets defense, of course, in the past have always placed in the top 5 in the league. And I think they're going to come out explosive in week 1. Our secondary is not maybe going to do so well, but points for sacks are worth a huge amount in fantasy football. So that's what they're going to make their points this weekend, I think.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm looking forward to football. We're getting way off topic, but I'm going to say it one more time. And let's say this is part of Isaac. You won. Part of the deal is when you get these cigars in hand, you have to go buy some cream soda, do the pairing, and then do a little write-up. So it's not
got a little homework.
No such thing as a free lunch. So you got to earn it a little bit. But I really encourage people to do this. This is really good, and I'm curious to see what someone else's take is on it because I really like it, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I mean, if I like it and I say I like it, then I'm right. But I don't know. I'm just curious to see how the masses will react.
And of course, we've got 2 interesting cigar chats coming up, almost back to back. Tomorrow night, one I'm really looking forward to because he is a hoot. Andre from Viaje is going to be here at our regular scheduled time of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a great show.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. We've got some really, really good giveaways. And I was talking to Andre today, and he says he's going to announce some news during the show. He wouldn't tell me what it was, but he's going to break some news during the show tomorrow. So.
And then of course I'm going to call them your boys because this was like a love affair, born out of the IPCPR Warped Cigars on Monday.
Oh, that's the following Monday.
That's the following Monday.
No, I'm looking forward to that too. I need to get Kyle dialed in, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm probably going to have my review of the Flor de Valle, which is their new release. We'll post that up on Monday as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because he's a really cool guy. He's an interesting guy, and he's got some really cool stuff. I mean, the merch that they've got is really cool. I've only smoked the La Colmena. I haven't smoked the El Oso yet or the Flor de Valle, but I'm looking forward to both of those.
Yeah, as am I.
So those should be pretty good shows.
It's going to be a great show. So everyone tune in tomorrow night. Andre Viaje, tune in Monday for Warped Cigars, and the creaminess is going to be off the scale. And please tune in next Wednesday for the next Sharing Our Pairings. We're going to do community pairings. We appreciate you guys participating, and give us some interesting ones. We'll love to try them out.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Stay safe. Have a good night.
See ya.